Hey everyone, Connie here, and today we are doing a reaction to My Hero Academia, Season 3, Episode 10. Pardon that. And it's been a while since... sorry. uh, it's been a while since we've done a reaction in here, right? That's mostly because usually it's just easier to do it out there. It's also a lot more comfortable to do it out there. But today I'm doing it in here for a couple reasons, and um, just to change things up. It might be a little hot in here, so if I have to wipe some sweat, oh well. You guys don't come to this channel because I'm so perfect in everything. If I have to wipe some sweat, I don't think any of you are gonna care. Hopefully not, at least. Um, but yeah, episode 10. And this is gonna be big, I think, after last week's episode. So last week, All For One made his presence known. Um, he destroyed an entire surrounding area in a second, taking out the likes of Blue Genist and Mount Lady. And Tiger, I think, was there as well. He was holding on to the unconscious body of, what is her name? Ragdoll. After rescuing her and everything. From what it seemed like, being turned into a Nomu. Hold on. There I am. Sorry about that. But yeah, it seemed like she was gonna be turned into a Nomu, and it seemed like her power was already taken by All For One. So, at least that's what I gathered from it. So that's gonna put some strain on the team, and not against her or anything. Of course not. It's not her fault, but it is going to damage the team a little bit. The Flying Pussycats or whatever they're called. um, but yeah, that's sad. Then we had the fact that the rescue of Bakugo went tits up. But it was actually working pretty well at first, but then apparently I guess All For One acted there as well, and some portals opened up. That brought Nomus into the bar, as well as took Bakugo out, and you saw All Might's reaction to that. He was, like, I wouldn't say pissed, but I'd actually say more of terrified. Like, he was legitimately upset at that when Bakugo was taken away. Because I think I heard someone mention, I think it might have been Chibi Reviews in his review of the episode, but someone, at least, mentioned that this, as far as we know, is one of the first people that All Might has not been able to save who have been right there. Like, yes, there's people who All Might couldn't save because he just couldn't get to them. Because he had to prioritize one thing over another. Especially in these more recent years with his ability to even do hero work declining. But here, Bakugo was right there. And everything was going well, but then it's like the rug was pulled out from under them. And All Might was unable to save him. And I don't think that's why exactly he reacted the way he did, why he screamed like that, and why he was so visibly upset. I think it was more of just the fact that, yeah, everything went tits up and Bakugo was taken again. I think he was just extremely upset because of that, because everything was starting to fail. Not so much specifically because of the connection to him not being able to save someone who was right in front of him this time. Now here's a question I had. Presumably, All For One used the portal thing, the like slime portal, I guess you could say. But did he? Before that happened, Shigaraki asked All For One to lend him his power. And then, like, that happened almost right away after. Now we know all for one can give powers. He can take powers and give them to others. That's kind of his thing. um can he do it without being in the room? Like, can he give the power to someone without physically being right there? That seems like a stretch to me. That seems like a major stretch because I don't know. That seems like extremely OP and kind of broken if he can do that. I mean, because at that point, like, why couldn't he just take the powers from anyone at any point he wants if he doesn't have to be in the room? I don't know. Maybe there's a limit to how far away he can do that with, or maybe he has to have a connection with the person he does that with. Um, I'm thinking that it wasn't Shigaraki, that it was just All for One using a power to help Shigaraki. So it still kind of fits within the lend me your power kind of thing. Um, and that kind of quirk, being able to do the portal thing, that makes a little more sense with being able to do it over distances. So that I think I believe a little more. Now, as for All for One's quirk, the one specifically that he used to defeat the heroes at the end of the episode and cause all that destruction, we don't know what it was. All we saw that he was being subdued by Blue Genist. He had all of the, denim fabric wrapped around him and whatnot. Um, and then all of a sudden, he like looked over at Blue Genist and it like had this flash of white. And then the next thing we see of that is there's this destruction. We don't actually know what he did. We don't know if it was some kind of explosion-based thing. We don't know if it was something else, if it was fire-based. We don't know what it actually was that he did. And I don't think I mentioned that last time, but that actually raises the level of his intimidation, of him being such a terrifying character. I did talk about that last time, about how terrifying he made his presence known last time. But that raises the bar even more, just not knowing exactly what he did, because it could be a number of things. And that makes it even scarier, because we don't have that information. It's actually a thing. Like, I don't know how many people know about this, but we as humans have a natural fear of the unknown. Now, there are always exceptions, of course, but just in general, we have a natural fear of the unknown. Things that are different, that are just completely out of our base of knowledge, we're afraid of it. It frightens us because we don't know what to expect, and we don't know if we can trust it. We don't know if it's dangerous or how dangerous it might be. And especially in this kind of situation, not knowing exactly what he did, it gets our minds reeling. It gets us thinking about all the different ways he could have done that. And that's terrifying. It makes it even more frightening because it could be any number of things and we don't know. Now, obviously, we're not in this world, so it's not as big of a danger to us, so it's not as terrifying. If we were in this world, that would make it a lot worse, knowing something like that was out there. But you get the idea. So I think I've talked about this enough, though. Yeah, everything is kind of going tits up for the heroes right now, but it's not over. We can still assume that All Might versus All for One is going to happen in this arc. Again, the opening kind of hints at it, and I honestly believe it. I honestly believe that's going to happen. I don't know which way it's going to go or how well it's going to go or whatnot, but I do believe it's going to happen. And another big question to ask is, how is this going to all end? Are they going to save Bakugo? Where did Bakugo even go off to? What's going to happen with the other heroes who were defeated already by All for One? There's so many questions to think about right now. What's going to happen with the other villains who had been subdued by the heroes before the Nomus started coming in? There's just a lot going on that you have to ask yourself at this point. I'm legitimately interested. I want to see more, so we're going to do so. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you at the reaction. We are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Sometimes, as I've said before, you have to talk about the end first. The previous user of One for All is named Nana Shimura. Last episode, we found out Shigaraki's real name is Tenka Shimura. Unless I'm misreading something here, or unless I'm just jumping the gun, they just told us Shigaraki has some relation to the previous All for One user. And if I were to guess anything based on what I would say All Might age-wise would be compared to Shigaraki, I'd say Shigaraki is probably the grandson of Nana Shimura. Holy fucking shit. Oh, that's big. Oh, that's big. Which means the father that Shigaraki mentioned was Nana Shimura's son, or son-in-law at least. Which, what happened to him? Something, clearly, that they're building up that something happened to Shigaraki's father. We saw that apparently Shigaraki was, I guess, orphaned or just completely alone at the point when All for One found him. I'm assuming that his father died. Now, it was also kind of hinted at, wasn't it, that Shigaraki, I guess, doesn't like heroes because heroes kept passing him by. Or no, people kept passing him by saying, oh, a hero will take care of him, and something like that. So I'm thinking he hates heroes because they never acted for him, and then because of how society views heroes, everyone else who could have done something, who could have helped him, just did nothing. And just kept saying, oh, someone else will get it, some hero will get it to him. That's interesting. There's a lot being built up on his character. Here's a question. Does he know that he's related to the former user of One for All? Does he know that? Has All for One told him? I really don't know. There's been no kind of hints that he would have. And we know he hates All Might. He said so in this episode. We know that. But what is the specific reason he hates All Might? He seems to hate All Might more than anyone else. Is it just because he's the #1 hero? Just because he's the symbol of peace? The symbol of what it means to be a hero? And Shigaraki just hates heroes in general, so because of that, he hates All Might more than the others, just because he's kind of what a hero is built up to be? I don't know. they're definitely building into stuff here. I want to know more about Nana Shimura though. Like they've slowly told us bits and bits about her. And we see her in the opening. We see her passing the power on to All Might in the opening. So I want to know more about her. I want to see a flashback or something, or maybe just have All Might tell maybe Izuku about her a little bit. But let's get into the rest of this episode, because we have a lot to talk about still. This fight was amazing. The fight between All Might and All for One, phenomenal. Honestly, I would say this is one of the top 3 fights of the entire series so far. And it's not just because of how the fight actually went down. It's not just because of how well the fight was done. But it's also because of how well it was built up. The entire All Might versus All for One thing, this had been built up since episode 2. When we first saw emaciated All Might, and first saw that wound he has, and heard about that, like what happened with that, at least the bits and pieces, that was the first time we got a glimpse at what All for One can do. That was the first time we sort of built up that idea of him. And then as the series progressed, we got more and more, especially in Season 2. Not as much in Season 1, but it still built the idea up a bit. And I think All Might might have mentioned him in Season 1. I might be wrong about that. But either way, it just kept building the idea up, building things together. I think we actually heard, because All for One's voice has been like over the monitor and stuff. I think that was in Season 1, if I'm not mistaken. I think he first started doing that in Season 1 with the voice on the monitor. Either way, yeah, it's like this has been built up the entire series, though. And because of it, this fight means something. Now, we know they've fought before, but getting to see this fight and how it came to be and everything in this episode even, it means something. It has depth. It has power. It has meaning, and just you get why it's happening, and you understand everything that got us to this point. Honestly, I couldn't have asked for anything better in terms of how this went down. I adore how this went down. And like I said, the fight was still great in terms of its execution as well. The action sequences were amazing. All Might just going all out like that. Heck, more than all out. Getting to see the combination of quirks used by All for One. And we know he has a lot more than that inside him. But those were just the ones he was choosing to use at this moment. And it's just like, that was really cool. And we kind of found out what happened before. Like, he used those enhancement quirks along with the, what was it called? Like, not rubber limbs, like that's Luffy from One Piece. But kind of that same basic concept. As well as, like, an air pressure cannon. And he used that's what he used before on Blue Genist and everything. So, because it was mainly just on Blue Genist because he threw the others out of the way. Yeah, that's just wild. We get to see, this episode's really important because we get to see All for One fight. We get to see what he can do. And just the bare minimum of what he can do. And at the end here, it's like All Might defeats him in this battle. Clearly, but I don't think it's over yet. I don't think that All for One's done. We'll have to see. This was amazing, though. Like, this episode was seriously amazing. I loved it. And let's talk about Izuku and the other students. I want to talk about a couple facets of that. First of all, their fear. Their fear was so palpable in this episode, and it was in the at the end of the last episode too. But I love seeing that in shows. I love it when you can showcase fear in such a very believable way. Even if you had no context for what was happening, if you just saw a still frame of, I want to say there's 5 of them. Let's see. Uh, Ida, Kirishima, Yayorozu, Izuku. Maybe just 4 of them. Is there someone? Oh, Todoroki. Yeah, there's 5. If you just saw a still shot of those 5, just standing there behind the wall with those expressions and stuff on, you'd know instantly that some big shit is going down. Not only just that they're afraid. No, you know something really big is happening. Because the expressions, the way they're drawn, the physical motions that these characters are making, the specific stances and all they're in, it all works together to create this just phenomenally done picture for us to really analyze. And it just instantly comes across as a primal fear. It is the most honest, most sincere, most primal, most aggressively horrible fear one could ever face. And you could tell that instantly from one look. That is masterful. And I'm sure it was like that in the manga too. See, that's one. I'm not a manga reader. I don't actually like the medium because I feel like it takes a lot out of stories to have it be still like that. I don't like regular comic books for the most part either. There's a couple exceptions here and there for both, but for the most part I feel like it's because it's not animated, it just doesn't give enough information to really make anything stand out. For an example of a comic book I like the MLP comics, I like the Legend of Korra comics, because I have that context already for how the characters move, how they act, what they sound like, what they think like. I have that context, so I'm able to, like, build upon that. But with other comics, it's like, certain ones, yeah, I know how Batman moves and all, but it's just like, it just doesn't feel right with a lot of them. At least it hasn't in the past for me. And with most manga, it's like, definitely not. Manga's actually even worse. But there's certain things, what I'm trying to get at here, there are certain things, even in anime, that I feel like there are those moments that would be great in the manga. And this is one of them. Seeing that primal fear on their faces, I'm sure looked amazing, hand-drawn in that manga. I'm sure it looked phenomenal. That's one thing I've never had an issue with manga, just how things are drawn and stuff, for the most part. But yeah, I'm sure that was really impactful for the manga readers. So, seeing that animated, I'm sure it was even better. Yeah. This episode, though, anyways, more aspects of what went on with the students here. So, yeah, first aspect was, of course, their primal fear. Second, the plan. So, Izuku, we know, is very smart. We know he is able to think things up based on his experiences and the experiences of others that he's analyzed. He's able to process information really well and is able to just kind of analyze the situation and work with it. And someone's actually brought up to me before the idea of, what if Izuku always has had a quirk, but it's been such a just minute one that it doesn't stand out and you don't think it is a quirk? What if his quirk this entire time has just been having an extremely analytical mind? Like, because his analytical skills are, like, insane. Like, they're definitely on a higher level than a normal person. Even, I'd say, more than, like, a lot of, like, police detectives or whatnot who need to have those analytical minds, who are trained to have analytical minds like that. Izuku is still like extremely, extremely analytical. I mean, yes, we have the knowledge that Izuku, I guess, has like all of the joints in his pinky toe. I think it was. Um, so there, and apparently most quirk users don't. But that's not a perfect system. I believe the doctor. This was like in the first couple episodes of the show. I believe the doctor had said that it's like most of the time that's how you tell. Um, like most quirk users don't have that, and it's like because here's the thing, that's a quirk that you wouldn't necessarily realize is a quirk. It's kind of like the original user for One for All, right? He had a quirk that it's like you wouldn't know that he had a quirk. He thought he was quirkless. Everyone thought he was quirkless. But his quirk ended up being able to pass on the quirk. So when his brother gave him the stockpiling of power, he was able to pass that on because of the quirk he already had, but he never knew he had that before. So you have to wonder if maybe Izuku did have a hidden quirk. I've heard some rumors and stuff that maybe All Might did, but I haven't heard anyone. Most people just aren't talking about that idea. What if Izuku had a hidden quirk and it was all about his analytical mind? Just something that you would mistake for just him being really smart. I don't know, it's just a thought. But either way, the point here is, so Izuku uses his analytical mind to assess the situation. He looks for an opening and thinks about all of his friends who are there and how their quirks work together. And he even goes as far to think about how exactly to get Bakugo to agree to join them. That's important because, and this goes into my third aspect of the students here that I really loved. Kirishima and Bakugo's relationship. Hear me out here. Throughout the series, and especially mostly in season 2, we've seen that Bakugo kind of gained this respect for Kirishima. He's worked alongside him a couple times, and he kind of gained this respect and a sort of a friendship with him. They're not like best buddies or anything. They're not like going to be hanging out all the time and breaking bread or whatnot. You get the idea. But they have a mutual respect for each other, and I think Bakugo actually does like him to a degree. I think they would consider each other friends. I honestly do. So having Kirishima be the key in all of this, that's basically what Izuku said, was perfect. Because having it so Kirishima's holding his hand, it's like, Bakugo, grab my hand and all. And then you see Bakugo does. He launches himself with his quirk and grabs his hand and he's like, what are you, an idiot? And he gives that, like that grin. Oh, I love this so much. I can see why people ship these two. I'm kind of jumping on that bandwagon myself. I could totally ship Bakugo and Kirishima. Totally. I'd be hella behind it. But the focus here is just how well that's done. Like, because again, we've had that context to build it up. If that just kind of came out of nowhere, if we didn't have the context of those two working together before and kind of forming that little bit of a bond, then it wouldn't mean as much. If Izuku was the one who tried to hold out his hand, Bakugo, I don't think would have accepted it. Even with all the growth he's had, I do not think Bakugo would have accepted it at this point, even to get away from these villains. I think he would have just, if it were Izuku who was holding on his hands, I think Bakugo would just kind of launch himself past Izuku and just kind of run off kind of with everyone else, but not really working with them. I also like how Kirishima was used as a battering ram. That's hilarious to me. Izuku used his full cowling. Ida used his jet quirk, and they launch. And Kirishima hardens himself. They launch him through the wall like that. That's hilarious. But it's a fantastic idea. It's using Kirishima's quirk in a unique and new way. Because his quirk is mostly defensive. And yes, it can be for offensive too. Obviously, hardening his body, using it kind of as a weapon, as a blunt object, basically. It increases his physical attack prowess. But it's also very much for defensive purposes. And I think Izuku knows that. That it can be used kind of for both. Because that's kind of what they did here. A battering ram is kind of, in this way, is kind of both offense and defense. It is allowing you to smash through a wall without, like, because we know Izuku could smash through the wall on his own with just his quirk. But this helped protect the others as well by using Kirishima basically as a shield to protect them from the rubble of the wall and everything, as well as using Kirishima himself to force through the wall and force it forward. He also, again, going back to the defensive side, if someone tried to attack at that point, Kirishima's hardening would be a great help for that. So it's like, there's so many aspects specifically to that that is just wonderful. But yeah, and then we see the other heroes doing stuff too. We see Gran Torino, we see Mount Lady take another hero to the face just to help the students and everything, which is really good. Like, okay, Mount Lady we know is actually a fairly new hero. She's a rookie. But one thing we've seen from her is she likes to steal the spotlight. That is actually part of her character. She's a bit of a spotlight stealer. She's a bit of a camera hog. She likes the attention. I mean, heck, that was basically her first appearance. She stole the spotlight from Kamui Woods and everything. But in this episode, she acknowledged, yeah, we have to be heroes first. And she took that hit to the face by the other hero who was thrown. She took that and to help the students here, to be a hero. I don't know, something about that is just really cool to me. Something about that is, it's not really character development or progression, but I think it's like, it's building on her character a little bit. It's, okay, I could say it's a little bit of development. It's developing her character. It's giving more to her, and that's something I think we've wanted to see. I think a lot of people are just fans of Mount Lady because she's hot, and she is. She is extremely attractive, yes. And I can see why people would be fans of that, but I think a lot of people are just fans of her because of that. Yes, her gigantification quirk is cool, but I don't think that's really enough. Now that we're actually getting character and development for her, I want to see more of that. I do want to see more of her in order to gain a better appreciation. Because for me, I like characters when they have some depth to them. Yes, there are certain characters I like who may not have as much depth, who I do like more based on aesthetic and like, I guess you could say superficial factors like that. But for the most part, when I like a character, it's based on their personality, their character traits, their actions, their thoughts, how they just, like, how they present themselves. That's what I was trying to think of. How they present themselves and all of that kind of stuff. Just their character, you know? That's why I like Sue so much. I mean, she's not the, like, most amazingly written character in the show. No. She's not the... excuse me. She's not the greatest written. She doesn't have the most extensive character history. She doesn't have, like, the most development or anything. But I like her because of the combination of everything she does have. It's the combination of things. My favorite anime of all time is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. My favorite show, or my favorite character in that is Ling Yao. And I like him for the same reasons. He's not the best developed character in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. He's not the even most likable character. He doesn't have the greatest character moments necessarily, but it's a combination of everything that works together that just propels him above the rest for me. His motivations, especially, are just really amazing for me, and I love his motivations. What I'm trying to get at here, though, and I'm gonna try to cut this here at the end because it's getting pretty long. My afterthoughts. I had a lot to say, though. Um, what I'm trying to say is that when I value a character, it's mostly because of everything they put forth. I like All For One as a villain because we've had a lot of build up to him, and now we're getting more character to him. We're getting more depth. And I like Shigaraki as a villain because we have all of that combining as well. I like Izuku as a hero because of that. And so on and so on. We have these characters who are more than just like who are more than just what they seem to be. And they are the sum of their parts in this sense. They are like all of these things coming together to make one amazing character. Even All Might. All Might's not just like the number one hero, the symbol piece. He has so much character to him. He has fears, he has insecurities, he has doubts. He's funny, he's a little silly, he acts a little bit like a child sometimes. Sometimes he acts like a total goofball. And it builds his character. We see everything he comes from. We see everything he thinks about. We see all of these different actions he's done. Hear about all he's done in the past. And see how he's reacted to certain things. Again, reactions are big with these kind of characters. His reaction to Bakugo being teleported by All For One. That was amazing. His reactions in this episode to All For One during their fight were amazing. I'm really excited for where this series is going to go right now. I've said it before, this series is currently my second favorite anime of all time, just behind Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and it is very much on the path to becoming my favorite. It could very easily become my favorite by the end of this season, and I hope it does. I really do. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. We'll see where it goes with next week, and we'll continue on. I think it's honestly really fucking close right now, though. Honestly, after this episode, it's really fucking close. I think this very easily could become my number one favorite, and I honestly believe it probably will. I hate to say that. I love Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood so much, and even if it's dethroned from my number one, I'll still love it just the same as I do now. But My Hero is just proving to be just amazing, like phenomenal. But yeah, I'm gonna end this off now because I've been going for like over 27, almost 28 minutes now. Tell me your thoughts on this episode in the comments below. What did you think of the All Might versus All For One battle? What do you think about finding out that the former One For All the former One For All user, not successor, the former user, Nana Shimura, is presumably related to Tenko Shimura, aka Shigaraki. What do you think of that? What do you think of Bakugo and Kirishima? Do you ship it, or do you just see them as good friends? Either way is fine, I mean, honestly. I'm kind of jumping on the bandwagon with the ship, though. I can kind of get behind that. I think it would be cute. Yeah, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie Royal, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.